for over £5, I got a chicken fillet burger meal, no drink, more chips. Goodness me, for one meal, over £5. Very costly, but I think I'll find out more about how I got into this position financially. Not with decisions like this, but in terms of mindset that I'd have when paying for things that cost this amount. Yeah. These are one portion of the chips, and then it's you got a chicken fillet burger in that box there with some more chips which have ketchup on it. Yeah. 2:55. I've been having this meal, by the way. That's the time. Also, I want to make a note that after having some of the chips and with the ketchup's way too salty. You know how people eat that on a regular basis, like 3 times a week. Way too salty. Anyway, I'm gonna try the chicken burger with the other chips there. The chips and the ketchup is gonna be the same, but as for the chicken burger, probably like last time, I'd assume it'd be excessively salty as well. I assume from last time that I find it excessively salty. I mean, yeah. Oh, so trying it for the first time. Or trying it for the first time in a long while. Why not? So I'll put some extra chips away in the bag so that it weighs how it almost did. Try out the burger. The chips are lukewarm. I don't know if I said that by the way. Oh, actually, hold on. Before I do try it, I'll show what the meal looks like. Same old, low nutrition. Fresh out of a polystyrene box. Yeah, so obviously not the healthiest of meals to eat. Alright, let's try it. Trying out the chicken burger. Yep. Excessively salty, like I imagine. Plus it looks very slightly raw. That breading is edible though. That breading is so salty, man. It's the breading. Now I know. The next time I'm having the next 3 months or so, or something like this for the next 3 months or so. It's the breading that makes it salty. As for the chips as well, yeah, excessively salty. Certainly won't be eating this in a very, very long while. Anyway, that's the meal. I'm having this meal so I wouldn't have to go back home to go eat and then go to the gyms and the girls are already out. As the mayo goes all over my hand. Yeah, it's not all that. It really isn't. Maybe make my own equivalent of it would be solid, but yeah. Crows are just surrounding me. Wow. But anyway, ain't all that. It really isn't. Why am I doing this to myself? I'm thinking. Well, I gave the reason, but that's what's going through the mind. I could be so much healthier than this right now. So much healthier than this. can't use lack of money as an excuse either, because it's certain someone's paid back what they said they'll pay back. So it's not like I have 53p in my bank balance anymore. I have a lot more than that. And eventually I'll be getting more soon. Not bad. I'll certainly go out my way to eat healthy because I don't like how I don't want to make myself feel from eating these sorts of foods, or how low these foods will make me feel. What's in them? What is that? I have no idea, but man, probably a part of why people come back. Oh, and I've now reminded myself of what I wanted to say outside of what I've said already, and that was when I left, the guy said "see you later" as I was leaving, and I thought I said yes, but then as soon as I left, I thought nope, because I just realised that he could have been paid psychology tricks with me. Yeah, I certainly won't be going back for at least a very, very, very long while. I was going to go to a specific shop, but I didn't think that they did the chicken burger, but I didn't even look. Hence, I went to go and get this food, because I knew that this shop that I did go to was after chicken burger. Yeah, just a typical chicken shop, really. Anyway, I probably won't eat the whole thing like how I usually would, which is something that I can talk about. Like always eating the entirety of meals, even though I go past the point of feeling full in doing so. But yeah, man, I'll probably finish off the chicken burger and then that'll be me done, at least for now anyway. For the sake of my health, I'm throwing these away. I've overeaten already as it is. So, cheers to making healthier decisions, man. Yeah. Instead of getting chips from the shop again, any fast food shop that is, maybe what I should do is instead just get some form of like maybe 2 chicken burgers. That's what I was thinking. Maybe 2 chicken burgers instead of a chicken burger and chips, so that I'd be making it more difficult to overeat. Or maybe even just eating the 1 chicken burger and just going in to get that once every few months. I'm so used to doing getting no, not when I would go to the chicken shops, what I would do is usually get chicken and chips, or like chicken breast, for example, and chips, or wings and chips, or maybe sometimes if mum or dad would buy a takeaway, I have some of the kebab that they would have bought. I wouldn't usually get it myself though. That would be quite rare. Not because I dislike doner kebab, but just more so out of habit from getting chicken and chips so many times, really, that I wouldn't be thinking about going to get doner kebab and chips. For the sake of my health, that's great. And again, going back to what I did earlier, throwing those extra chips in the bin, that's also amazing for my health as well. So I'm not overeating any more than I have done. I don't have any more to go with that meal. I just ate it like as it was. The only foods I really had there was the condiments, the mayo and the ketchup. So my throat is feeling a bit dry, but they do have water at the gym, so that's fine. That's not something that can't be solved. Or if anything, even if it couldn't be, I would just be able to go home. But man, I might have some things I need to work through with my nutrition, not in terms of what I eat, but also how much I'd eat. I noticed this yesterday as I was having the roses sweets. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it so happened that it did. My throat's feeling phlegmy from all of that oil. I'd imagine not only from the chips, but from the burger as well. Yes, we'll go back to what I was saying. I've noticed that not necessarily always, but I've found myself wanting to eat everything that's on the plate. Everything in this. My first point of call to explain why I'd want to do that would be how I grew up. Always doing monkey see, monkey do. My dad would have excessively large portions. I'd assume from the low protein that would be in the meals. And as a kid, I didn't know any better, so I do the same. Monkey see, monkey do. Even though it was detrimental to my health. As a kid, you're not gonna really know what health is and why it should be valued. As a kid that's no older than 9, unless you're in that, unless your parents equip you in that environment where they value their health and they go out of their way to teach you how to value yours by providing you healthy meals and educating you on how to eat in a healthy way. And to be fair, I can't blame the parents, because I wouldn't imagine health would be a priority. Survival would be. So, with that in mind, I mean, from how they were raised as well, that's got to play a part in how they eat too. Because I'd assume from all those generations back, they wouldn't know any better. And from many, many, many generations back, that does make sense. Seeing, at least partially seeing, is it's more than fair to think that they would have anywhere near as much access to the knowledge that we do now about nutrition. However, our health and our need for nutrients and vitamins, etc., does not give a fuck about how accessible knowledge about nutrition is. And in the defense of how the body works, there always will be vegetables that can be grown. There will always be plant-based foods that can be eaten, like vegetables. Yeah. On that note, I think seeing as it seems as though I don't have much else to say other than talking about what Noom have called the Clean Plate Club, like eating everything that you've been given on the plate. I don't really have much else to say. It's something that it might actually be sensible for me to make an entire video on, so I might do that. But for now, that'll be it. Yeah. Wow, on a side note, I'm really liking the length that my hair is currently at, that it's grown to. If I can get a clipper that can cut at this level, I'd be very much on the way to giving myself an amazing looking face. But anyway, haircut is not what I'm looking to talk about here. What I'm looking to talk about here is the clean plate business. Alright, so there's this idea, I think on Noom, that I've heard of many Noom adverts, and it's called the Clean Plate Club. And very clearly, obviously, as you can probably guess, it's about eating everything on the plate, even if you're feeling too full, before finishing everything. Now, I believe that I certainly could have been one of those people that was conditioned to be this way with their eating, through seeing my dad eat excessively large portions, through to the low protein meals that my mum will cook, and that he from time to time will cook as well, and the meals that they both make. Now, my parents have complained many times about being overweight. I've noticed over the years, and if I am to not pay. If I'm to not overcome this way of growing up and changing change how I've been eating and thinking relative to how I was raised, then I'm going to go down that same route where the metabolism isn't going to be so high as I age, and I would just be putting on unhealthy amounts of body fat, and I'd be living like them, which absolutely isn't the plan. I don't want to be anything like my parents because of how I think they live their lives, and it's nothing like how I'd want to live in terms of nutrition, and that's minimum. Now, I think maybe what I should be telling myself here, well, not necessarily should, but what I can tell myself to start overcoming this clean the plate business is to say that I don't have to be like my parents, and that is amazing. I don't have to eat like them. I don't have to complain like them. I don't have to live in a way that doesn't seem like they really appreciate life like them, at least as much as they could anyway. Life doesn't have to be like surviving. I don't have to survive. I don't have to just survive. And with their way of eating, that's what I'd be setting myself up to do. I'd be setting up the foundations to do that. And I don't have to, nor do I want to. Pardon me. I have no idea how I'm gonna overcome decades worth of being taught to clean the plate, through what my parents have said, through what my parents have done, through what I've seen them do in terms of how much they'd eat to themselves. I don't know how I go about it other than making videos, but the videos, in my opinion, are certainly worth making for the sake of improving my health and maintaining it. They're worth making, regardless of whether I'd upload them publicly or privately. They're worth making, because this is my health we're talking about here. If they aren't gonna go out their way to provide healthy meals for me, they aren't. And although I remember my mum recently one time offering, there's salad ready-made from a supermarket somewhere that I could have, I wouldn't take it up, and I never would. That obviously wasn't the main event. The main event would be extremely healthy food, extremely, at least somewhat, at a minimum, somewhat unhealthy food, yeah. So I don't really know what to do other than to go shopping and carry on making videos. I think I could go out of my way to make this one longer, or to make this talk about this clean the plate business longer. And I could start off with, how do I think I got to this point? When do I think that this started? When do I think this when do I think I started seeing my dad eat excessively large portions? When do I remember seeing that? Also, how long have I been going out my way to quench my thirst with food as well? That'd be another thing to tackle, but I'll do that after this clip. I want to get a drink. Well, going back to what I was saying. So I think I could have been seeing my dad eat excessively large portions ever since maybe like 9. And actually, in fact, speaking of, because I'd be seeing my dad especially do this, right? There was no accountability system to say, hey, you're overeating, like, tone it down, stop. You can stop. You don't have to finish the plate for 1 and 2. This shit's not healthy. There was no one there telling me eating too much and feeling so full to the point you can't walk with a straight back is not healthy. No one was telling me that, and I didn't grow up parentless. I grew up grandparentless, so there was literally no one in the family knowing better. No sort of accountability whatsoever to tell my parents, hey, you're overfeeding them. No, I didn't. 3 out of 4 grandparents were dead before I was born, and as for the other one, I have no memory of speaking to that individual. So I'm basically grandparentless, no form of accountability for my parents to just could raise them anyway, you could disrespect your kids anyway, you could talk to your kids anyway, you could feed them anyway, and the same goes for them as well. They could feed themselves anyway. No check. There's no check whatsoever for them, really. Oh, pardon me. Past a certain point, there's quite early on, I'll say. I'll leave it at that. But okay, we can talk about this then. Lack of accountability. Ever since, like, what? A lack of healthy forms of accountability anyway. Potentially ever since I was born, I could have been seeing this without having any recollection of it. But I remember having snapshots, maybe like when I was 8 years old, of having a massive rice and curry portion and crying because everyone was going to leave the table. I suppose, now that I look back at it, that could have been my way to just attention seek. Maybe I was looking for validation some way, I don't remember. Yeah, okay. So that's a part of how my parents aren't eating as healthy as they could be. Potentially no healthy forms of accountability with nutrition at a minimum whatsoever. Their parents aren't alive, and what are the odds that my grandparents knew how to eat healthy as well, especially from the generation that they would have come from, in which there was nowhere near, I'd fairly assume, as much information on nutrition as there is now. So yeah, there's that. Oh my god. Also, I think priority would probably, outside of lack of accountability, lack of healthy forms of accountability, priority would probably be another thing. I'd imagine, seeing as their parents, my parents, health isn't necessarily the main priority. It's just making sure that you get by day to day, because their parents might not have taught them that health for you and your children should be the priority, not survival. They might not have necessarily had that person behind that person or those people behind them telling that, who were by their side, who really valued them, to say, hey, put you and your children's health first, not just survival, living life to the fullest. Put that first, because with that would come the innate ability to be able to survive optimally, and also to be able to not just survive but live. Yeah. And my parents, they didn't give me nutritional advice. It's just eat your food. That's it. There's like basically the same amount of talks that I got for like sex talks. Don't catch HIV. That was it. That was basically all I got for the sex talk. And as for what I would now call the food talk, it was that, just eat your food. It doesn't matter what food that they're bringing it to the table. It doesn't matter if the child's overeating. Then again, past a certain point, that is up to them. So I'm willing to take accountability for overeating past a certain point, for sure. But I was raised to overeat. I think this is a very new way of thinking that I've just come up with now, but I'm fully convinced I was. Without them not purposely, but without them knowing any better, I'm convinced that they, my dad especially. Actually, no, I say no. But both my parents are accountable for this. I'm convinced that they have taught me to overeat, and now it's my responsibility to say, no. If I'm full, stop. And it's my responsibility, mine and mine alone, to eat healthily and please don't try and quench your thirst with eating. That is a part of what fuels overeating. Trying to eat your thirst away, or trying to eat my thirst away. Yeah. I'm now thinking I have a place to start off with. No longer going out my way to clean the place. Never try and quench my thirst with food. I've got to stop doing that. That fueled, getting to the point where I was August 2021. Yeah. As I can taste chicken and chips on my breath. I seem to be doing it once every few months, and I don't mind that. That's okay. But I don't think I should be getting chips, though, honestly. Instead, if anything, just get 2 burgers or maybe just the 1, so that I'm not overeating, and also potentially maybe so that I make it more difficult to try and quench my thirst with food, which I know is something that I have been doing, and that I for the sake of my health should stop doing, because very much later on down the line I could be setting the foundations for eating so many salty foods, potentially like chicken, for example, that would create high blood pressure and a heart attack. And I know I'm susceptible to these sorts of things. Yeah. Quarter past 8 in the evening, having this snack compulsively alongside these samosas, which I just saw in the fridge, all just together, obviously without the ketchup. I was gonna have 2 of these and 2 of these like I did yesterday, but I decided to, after that talk about overeating and not eating past the point I feel full, I've decided to put groups of them away. I put 1 of these away and 1 of these away because I found that maybe past the 3rd or 4th one, I had enough, but I still kept on eating anyway, so I just got rid of them. Yeah, but anyway, this is what I'm having. I was gonna have jollof, but it doesn't seem like it's there. The container was in the fridge, but I couldn't seem to find it, so it could have been eaten. But yeah, man, this is it. I'm having this now. At 8:15 in the evening. These might be what's inside all of them. Some sort of meat, chicken maybe. I don't know. Seeing as it's white, I think, well, light. Not white, but a light color. I think chicken maybe. But yeah. Just poured some extra ketchup whilst having these samosas. Obviously, as the last amount that I had completely run out. Just after finishing the samosas, 8:29, and also the other snacks, I've decided to have these. The only time I'll consider having the sweets, and certainly as many as I've had, will be when I think I'm overeating, and if I think I'm having them like basically every day, too often each day. Yeah, or on too many days consecutively.